These are the shocking details about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's latest royal standoff, and why his own family is now forcing him out of yet another home. What started as a temporary arrangement has turned into another embarrassing power struggle that's testing the patience of the entire royal family. Just months after being stripped of his titles and evicted from the luxurious royal lodge, the disgraced former prince has found himself at the centre of another controversy. This time, he's refusing to leave Wood Farm, the modest cottage on the Sandringham estate that was supposed to be his temporary refuge while his permanent home gets renovated.
Here's how we got to this point. On October 30th, 2025, King Charles finally pulled the trigger on what many saw as long overdue. He stripped his brother Andrew of every remaining title and honour, transforming him from Prince Andrew, Duke of York, into plain old Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. The reason? Years of mounting pressure over his association with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein had finally reached a breaking point. The eviction from Royal Lodge wasn't just symbolic, it was brutal. Andrew had called this 30-room Windsor mansion home since 2004, complete with a chapel, swimming pool and outdoor terrace. He'd paid £1 million for a 75-year lease back in 2003, expecting to live there until 2078. But by January 2026, Palace insiders made it crystal clear that he had to be out by January 25. As one friend of Andrew revealed, he had planned to cling on at Royal Lodge a little longer, but it was made clear to him that it was time to go. The humiliation was so complete that Andrew chose to leave under the cover of darkness on February 4th, 2026. His staff was slashed from an impressive 28 people, including 4 chefs and 3 valets, down to just 3. The man who once commanded a small army of servants was reduced to the bare minimum. Wood Farm seemed like the perfect temporary solution. This 5-bedroom cottage, tucked away in a secluded part of the Sandringham estate, had special significance. It was where Prince Philip spent his retirement years. Philip had lovingly decorated the walls with his own artwork, redesigned the kitchen and bedrooms, and even tended to a truffle farm that produced its first successful crop of Perigord black truffles in 2018. It was meant to be a quiet retreat where Andrew could lay low while his permanent residence, Marsh Farm, underwent renovations. But here's where the story begins to take a rather familiar turn. Sources close to the situation have quietly raised concerns about how quickly these so-called temporary arrangements can settle into something far more permanent. There is a growing unease that once he becomes comfortable at Wood Farm while Marsh Farm is being completed, there may be no persuading him to leave. As one insider rather bluntly put it, they may never get him out again. Those concerns now appear to be edging closer to reality. Matt Wilkinson, royal editor at The Sun, has pointed to the mounting pressure behind the scenes. The royal family make frequent use of Wood Farm, and with the Easter holidays approaching, there is every likelihood that extended members of the family will wish to come and stay. As he noted, there will be those keen to pop up for what is, in effect, a rather convenient holiday, and naturally, they will expect to make use of Wood Farm. The timing couldn't be worse for Andrew. Easter 2026 was supposed to mark his final move to Marsh Farm, but the renovations are dragging on. The property needed extensive work, including rewiring, plastering, and there was even talk of asbestos and rat issues. Security cameras and lighting have been installed. The area has been added to Sandringham's no-fly zone, and Sky TV has been fitted. But it's still not ready. Andrew's situation became even more precarious when he was arrested on February 19th, 2026, on his 66th birthday. Police held him for 11 hours on suspicion of misconduct in public office, investigating whether he shared confidential government information with Epstein during his time as a UK trade envoy. The charges carry a potential life sentence, making him arguably the most toxic member of the royal family in modern history. Wood Farm itself has a complicated history that adds another layer to this story. In the early 1900s, Prince John, King George V's youngest son, who suffered from epilepsy, was sent to live there when his condition worsened. He died at Wood Farm in 1919 at just 13 years old. The cottage later earned the nickname Divorce Home when Sarah Ferguson stayed there over Christmas 1992, banned from formal festivities at Sandringham House. The irony isn't lost on anyone that Andrew, now himself a pariah, has ended up in the same place where royals have historically been exiled when they became inconvenient. But the royal family's patience is wearing thin. As Wilkinson observed, "I have a sneaking suspicion he could be in even before that, because they want Wood Farm back. The longer he's there, the more comfy he gets." The pressure isn't coming because Marsh Farm is ready. It's because the family simply wants their property back. Local residents aren't thrilled either. Luke Schreier, a neighbour, was blunt about Andrew's arrival. "I just think Andrew needs to go. It's an embarrassment to England, because this is going to be worldwide." Another resident near Wood Farm called Andrew's presence not a very good idea. Even the staff situation has become complicated. Sources report that many estate workers are refusing to serve Andrew. They've been told they don't have to serve Andrew or work for him if they feel uncomfortable, one insider revealed, adding that there's already quite a list saying no thanks. The description of a lot of disquiet because he is now a total pariah paints a picture of a man increasingly isolated even among those paid to serve him. The contrast between his demands and reality is stark. Before leaving Royal Lodge, Andrew wasn't just asking for a new home. He wanted the whole package. A cook, a gardener, a housekeeper, a driver, basically a full-time staff to keep his life running exactly the way it runs at Royal Lodge. And, of course, police protection too. What he's getting instead is Marsh Farm, a modest red brick farmhouse with 5 bedrooms, 2 reception rooms and a kitchen. His security detail will be housed in a second-hand mobile home costing roughly $33,000. The property faces flooding risks, is plagued by rodents and molehills, and the access road is filled with potholes. Adding insult to injury, 20 tankers recently delivered 150,000 gallons of liquid manure to the property. Sarah Ferguson, his ex-wife who lived with him at Royal Lodge since their 2004 move-in, is reportedly still planning her own independent move. After decades of an unusual arrangement where the divorced couple continued living together, Ferguson is house hunting in the Windsor area, signalling the end of even this unconventional support system. She has no luck and, apparently, at her breaking point. The broader implications are staggering. Andrew's biographer, Andrew Lowney, noted that Prince William doesn't want to inherit this problem. It's shaped the reign of Charles. It's a distraction from all the other work they do. It's undermined the reputation of the members of the family. It's pretty much destroyed the institution. King Charles, already dealing with his own health challenges, now faces the prospect of his brother becoming an even bigger liability. The arrest has been compared to historical precedents, with some noting that the last royal to be arrested was Charles I in 1647. And that didn't end well for him. As we arrive at Easter weekend, the deadline for Andrew's final move, all eyes are on whether he'll comply or stage another embarrassing standoff. One thing is clear. The royal family's tolerance for his antics has reached its limit. The man who once lived in a 30-room mansion with 28 staff members is now facing the reality of a flood-prone farmhouse with 3 helpers and a mobile home for his security. Sources say he will not take the move easily and has done everything possible to complicate the matter. The transformation from Prince Andrew to Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor isn't just about titles. It's about the complete dismantling of a royal lifestyle that many argue was never deserved in the first place. And if his pattern of resistance continues, Wood Farm might not be his last stop on this journey of forced humility.